Okay, here we go, working some more inverse functions, talking about inverse functions. So we have this function f of x equals x squared, and we know that its domain is from 0 to 2. What is the range of f? So let's first sketch a little graph. Okay, this should be good, and let's do our graph. Let's go in green. Okay, if my domain is 0, from 0 to 2, so when f is 0, you know, f of 0 equals 0 squared, which equals 0. So we got there. And then we got, let's go over to 2. F of 2 equals 2 squared, which equals 4. So we go over 1, 2, and up 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, somewhere up in there. So that's it. Because that's the only where this function exists, between the domain of 0 and 2 and the range here of 0, to extend that line, 0 and 4. Okay? So we see here easily that the range is, so the range of f, we'll say R of f equals the interval from 0 to 4. Okay? We'll do a more formal way of solving it here in just a little bit, because we know that the range of f is the domain of the inverse function. So let's go to our next problem here. Given the same situation, f of x equals x squared, and the domain is from 0 to 2, inclusive, find a formula for the inverse function. So we have that when we find our inverse function, we always set the f of x equal to y equals x squared, and we solve for x. So to solve for x here, we take the square root of both sides, so we get that x equals square root of y. And some of you might want to say it's plus or minus, but when we're talking about functions, we can't say plus or minus because that would give me two outputs. So we typically pick the positive value for it. So it's a positive square root of y. And so that gives me my inverse function, f inverse of y equals the square root of y. Okay? And let's see, what was I want to do here? So the range of f is the domain of f inverse. Right, because we put these range values, the y values in, so the range is the domain. So I think that's going to be my next question. What is the domain of f inverse? So we see here that the range, we know that the range of f equals 0 to 4. That was from the first problem here. We found the range of f. So now here we know the range of f is 0 to 4. And if we look at, we found f inverse of y equals the square root of y. So that means our domain, our inputs for our inverse functions, for our inverse function, is the range of our original function. So I get the domain of f inverse equals 0 to 4. Okay? And so the range of f inverse, again, f inverse of y equals the square root of y, and we're looking for the range. Note that the y's send the inverse sends the outputs back home. That is, f of 2 equals 4, and so f inverse of 4 equals 2. So it just sends it back to its domain element. So the range of f inverse is the domain of the original function, 0 to 2. Okay? That is, this equals the domain of f. And back here, so Find the domain of f inverse. So the range of f is 0 to 4, so the domain is 0 to 4. And here we get the range of f is the domain of f. The range of f inverse is the domain of the original function. Okay? Let me walk back through this. I've confused myself. Okay, so f of x equals x squared. We want to find the range. So I just sketched the graph here, and we want different colors. We went from 0 to 2. And we've seen clearly that that leaves me a range of 0 to 4. So let me, and my domain is from 0 to 2. So I immediately know, just from here, without doing any work, I actually know already that my range of f inverse equals the domain of f, 0 to 2, and the domain of f inverse equals the range of f, which is 0 to 4. That is, the inverse function takes the outputs and sends them back to their original inputs. Okay? And that's going to conclude this video on inverse functions.